When calculating a PowerOLAP formula, it is important to understand what's happening when a formula actually is calculated. How PowerOLAP functions is each time a point is requested, the point is passed into the calculation engine. If that particular point fits into the left-hand side of a formula, then the right-hand side is calculated based on that current point. A point is defined as a intersection of a member along each dimension in the cube. When a point in this slice, for example, is asked for, let's take the value 2710. This point is the intersection of world, sales, actual, January. PowerOLAP calculates an individual point at a time. Therefore, when this point is asked for, it is passed into the calculation engine and returned as a result. When you pass or when the calculation engine is called, it is called with a point at a certain intersection. Let's look at our cube formula. Future year model. And let's develop a left-hand side formula to simply replace our gross margin calculation. Gross profit equals, and now let's develop a right-hand side. Thinking about what this right-hand side is very important. When a point comes in, even though we only specified gross profit along the accounts dimension, when the engine is actually called, the value of the point comes in as a fully qualified point. So whenever this function is executed and it is discovered that a point fits into the left-hand side, we are calculating a point at gross profit for an individual element of actual versus budget for a particular month for a particular region. This is important to remember, and it's critical in use of the function called current. The current function is a right-hand side function which returns the current name of a member for the particular point that's being calculated. For example, in this instance, I'm calculating accounts gross profit. I'm going to insert a current function by selecting down to the list, double-clicking on current. I can specify what member I want returned from what dimension. I can use as many current functions as I please within the right-hand side for each dimension that I'm worried about or want to analyze the current member for. What I'm going to do in this condition is I'm simply going to return the current member of a dimension to display how this actually works. So in the model we have here, I'm going to return the current region. Semicolon. What I'm going to do here is simply assign the gross profit equal to the current member for regions. I hit OK. I select OK. I recalculate. And as we can see, this formula is returning the current member along each dimension. In this intersection here, I'm calculating gross profit for the intersection of actual January for world. Therefore, world is being returned. In this instance, I'm calculating the point of gross profit for North America for actual January. Therefore, North America is returned, etc., all the way across. The example I gave is not necessarily the best. However, you can use this information to perform certain calculations. For example, I may want to do something only for Canada, but I need to do that calculation on the right-hand side of a formula. I can check to see if the current member that I'm calculating is Canada, do something. Otherwise, do something else. Also, I can do mappings between different dimension types. Currently in PowerOLAP, if dimensions are shared between cubes, the same members are used across those cubes. However, there may be examples where many of the members in different dimensions share the same name. By using the current function, you can tell PowerOLAP to grab the current value in your dimension and use that member name in a different dimension of a different cube. We'll go further into that later.